Well, look what we have here. All right. Couldn't find my knife. I'll open this the right way. This is the 8-bit Do Pro 2 Bluetooth gamepad. Anyways, it's the competitor to the Switch Pro controller, and the price is pretty similar. I'm actually grabbing this because of reviews, and I kind of don't like the Switch Pro controller other than where the joystick is located. This one, as you can see, is much more for the D-pad group, but that's fine. We have multiple controllers to do multiple things. I'm gonna give this a shot. Let's get it on the box. Not too bad. I did have to wait a little bit because this was, I guess, a pre-order for Amazon, or from Amazon. There you go. Package is all right. Real quick, it's supposed to be, since it's Bluetooth, Switch, Windows, Android, Mac, Steam. Should be fine. They do sell a USB adapter if you don't want to use Bluetooth for some stuff. But here it is. USB-C cable. Like the color since it actually is matching instead of boring black or something. Some fun instructions on how to use a controller. That should always be cool. Back buttons. It's pretty weighty. Pretty heavy. Comes with a rechargeable battery. You can't hate that. And you could, I mean, this reminds me so much of a 360 controller in the way that everything is here. I was reading that you could actually change the height of actuation for these triggers too. So I'll have to install the software, play a little bit. We have here SADX, so we can change up what some of these do. Pretty cool so far though. This is actually because I bought one of those Power A Pikachu controllers, actually kind of thinking that it was a Switch Pro controller at the time. And it's a cool looking controller, but I was like, wow, it's so hollow. Why is it so hollow? Well, it's because it doesn't even have rumble. You can see here, star. This is our share buttons and everything. It's kind of weirdly placed, but it is supposed to be a little bit more like a mix between the Super Nintendo controller and the PlayStation controller for the Wii. I don't really like using the Joy-Cons that much unless I need that kind of control with two hands because they're small, you know, and I'm not. So let's give it a shot. That's the 8-bit Do.
All right. So here I plugged in the 8-bit Do Pro 2 controller to the PC here, and when you plug it in, it lets you set it up depending on which profile you want to set up. So if you click here, you can see that we go and we're going to set up controls and macros and everything else for when it's on Windows. And you can set the vibration levels, and you can feel it on the table. You might be able to hear it. It's a pretty strong vibration motor. Now, it's not HD rumble. Yeah. So I usually have it on 3 for each one. So you can have 3 profiles per connection from what I found. So right now, of course, all my stuff's set to profile 1. But, so I was able to find the active area of the triggers for Windows. Okay. Please turn off the software after customization. Cool story. Please load profile. Push the button. Okay. Yes, I want to do a different platform. So if I wanted to switch on the back of the controller, you switch it over to the S. Yes, S for switch. Boom, boom, boom. You see here, I can't change the analog sticks for the Switch. So I was kind of right, kind of wrong earlier. I couldn't find it depending on the platform. But I can find it for Windows, which is really nice. I mean, Switch maybe doesn't really matter. There's not a lot of pressure sensitive games in Switch, since there really isn't any, I suppose, considering the triggers on the Switch are just kind of click. They're not like Xbox, right? So this is taking the Xbox approach and letting you change how far you have to pull the trigger before it actually considers it gone. You can change the active areas, inactive areas, etc. You can change the zone for the sticks. I wouldn't. I tried it. I wouldn't. It's just too much. But you can map everything here and build out some macros. Now, I don't think it's very, like, amazing. I don't know. It's not great. They're there for certain things. But it kind of depends on what you're going to use it for. I'm probably just going to leave the macros alone myself. And then with that, you can set anything you want. There is a turbo button, so the home button for the Switch is this little 8-bit do logo button. And it also works as the Xbox button, like an Xbox controller would on PC. So if you hit it, it will bring up the same thing that Windows G would, the Xbox game setup. So there's a lot of really cool features in here, a lot of ways you can actually make this really just the way you want to. And I'm just so happy that it's USB-C. I kind of keep comparing this to an Xbox controller because they're priced pretty similar. I mean, this is $55. Xbox controllers are $50 to $60. Especially the Xbox Series X controllers, which I do like better. Not that I have a Series X, but I do like the controllers better. I think it's enough of an upgrade to actually matter. So if you're looking at this for the Switch, so far I like it a lot. I'm playing a lot of Smash Brothers with the kids with it. Super Smash Brothers isn't necessarily the game that you'd buy this for, since the sticks are below, unless you're just really a big fan of the PlayStation style controllers, because the D-pad is not, at least by default, that useful on the Super Smash Brothers. But that's okay. A lot of games, like other Mario games and stuff, it's great for. And yeah.
Well, take your pick. I've actually really liked this one so far. I think the Xbox controller is still probably the best overall controller for Xbox and PC and Android. I think the default button layout is accepted everywhere. Ergonomically, the triggers actually have vibration, grips, and little bumps and all that. This one's really cool for the Switch. I did use it on the PC the other day, and I had some weird bugs where it would sometimes it would take a vibration, and then it would just get stuck vibrating, and I had to hold the start button to turn it off and hold the start button to turn it back on, and then it would go away, and then maybe 10 minutes later it'd happen again. So compared to the Joy-Cons, for most things, I'll take this. Compared to this, this is basically an Xbox controller, right? But it's the hollow, no rechargeable battery. I put my own in. No vibration. It's okay, but for $40-50 for this thing, I wouldn't pay $40-50 for this thing again, knowing that it isn't as good as this one, right? So, relatively same size. Plus, this one looks cooler. But a lot of it does come down to joystick placement for a lot of people. This is the PlayStation style, and these are the Xbox styles, and so is the Switch. So whichever one you really want. But, when it comes to using this for PC and stuff, I'd use the Xbox controller pretty much every time now. I definitely recommend this over it, especially since the drivers are built into Windows, right? And it doesn't have to go over Bluetooth if you have the adapter. This is only good with the Switch, so that's another reason I would say take this over this, and probably this over a Switch Pro controller for that same reason. Because if you only have enough to buy one kind of expensive controller, which all Switch controllers are, I'd take this guy. If you want this. 8-bit makes some really good products. They have some really good controllers. So take your pick on that, but this can do a lot more than this or a Switch Pro controller. So thanks, hope you liked it.